AMD had one of the best years in its history. The revenue is growing, the profits are growing, the demand for AMD products is insane. AMD is in the middle of a huge AI wave. Its CEO was named the CEO of the year by the Time magazine. Overall market situation is kinda okay. S&P 500 grew more than 20% this year, so everything's fine, right? Well, not really. AMD stock in the last 9 months dropped 50%. The stock has halved. So today we're trying to understand, is this a great opportunity to buy a profitable tech company right in the middle of AI wave for a very good price? Hey there and welcome to the Market Monkeys channel. Today we're talking about AMD and is this a great opportunity to buy this company? So recently AMD has dropped quite a lot and this is due to two things. First of all, Bank of America recent downgrade. They downgraded from buy to neutral, citing the increased competition in AI from Nvidia and growing cloud preference for custom chips by Broadcom and Marvell Technology. And second of all, the weird comments from one of AWS executives that the demand on AWS cloud for AMD chips is kind of sluggish, sparkling rumors for AMD competitiveness. So AMD was pretty fast to rebuttal all the claims from AWS, claiming that many huge tech companies are buying chips from AMD and actually the demand for AMD products is really great. So they have cited that companies like OpenAI, Meta, Oracle and IBM been buying AMD products, their graphic accelerators in bulk recently. Also, the CFO of AMD, by the name of Jean Hu, confidently projected AI accelerator revenues to exceed $5 billion in 2024, contradicting the slowdown fears. So first of all, let's try to understand what had happened with downgrade of Bank of America. And second, let's try to understand where are the other analysts with their price target regarding AMD stock. So first of all, Bank of America. Their analyst Vivek Araya downgraded AMD from buy to neutral and reduced the price from $180 per share to $155. And the reasons for downgrading AMD are a couple of them actually. First of all is the increased competition from Nvidia. Nvidia is taking more and more market share and is not really stopping there. So we have talked about Nvidia taking something like 70% of data center revenue. In the recent videos, we have already mentioned that this number grew to around 90-95%. Second is the cloud provider, more demand for custom ASICs from companies like Broadcom and Marvell and less demand for graphic accelerators from AMD. The third reason is the slowness in AI PC chip market. So if you remember, AMD is also producing things to a PC market, not only to the data center market. And PC market is famously cyclical. So the analysts are saying, okay, the cycle is coming to an end and the market will slow down. If you found this information interesting, valuable, or just find our channel awesome, press the like button on this video and subscribe to our channel. The Bank of America analyst had downgraded the target price for AMD and actually downgraded the projected revenue growth for 2025 by 6% and 2026 by 8% for the company. And as the reason of that, the investors started to get worried about AMD stock and the stock went down to 52-week low already. Now let's try to see what other analysts are saying, because again, the downgrade from 180 to 155 is bad, of course, but still the price target is 155. Last week, AMD was trading between 120 and 130, so 155 is still a long way to go. So I gathered all the recent updates of price target for AMD by various analysts and let's take a look at them. So Rosenblatt Securities retained a buy rating for AMD with a $250 price target, citing optimism for AMD upcoming MI300 and 350 products. Mizuho adjusted its price target from 185 to 180, so reduced the price target, but again 180. We have a long way to go until 180, but kept an overperform rating, signaling confidence in AMD's long-term potential. TD Cowen also lowered their target price for AMD from 210 to 185, but reiterated a buy rating. Piper Sandler maintained overweight with 180 price target. So we can see that pretty much all of the analysts are agreeing on somewhere around $180 per share for AMD. Now, before we close the section with the analyst price target, let's take a look if these price targets are worth something. Because we have seen in the previous video we've made, especially with the video about NIO, we have seen that analysts are spot on the price target for the company, and actually their price target means something. And we have seen other companies, probably other analysts, where the price target is always much higher than the actual price of the company itself. So here we can see the price target, which is orange, and the blue is the actual price of the stock. So usually analysts are more optimistic than the stock price itself, but the convergence between the stock price and the target price does happen sometime. So this 180 price target can absolutely happen. So now we will take a look at the AMD financials. We will understand what is happening. We will take a look at the projections of AMD's revenue and their growth, and you will understand what should be the time horizon for you if you're choosing to pick AMD stock for your portfolio. So to understand what is going on with AMD, let's take a look at the company and its closest competitors. And I have chosen Qualcomm, ARM, Broadcom, and Nvidia. I have not chosen Intel because nobody cares about Intel anymore. So first thing which we need to know is that AMD had the worst return this year and also in the last 9 months out of all of the stocks. And we are talking about returns of the stocks, now the company itself. Second of all, if we're talking about valuation, I would like to take a look at the PEG ratio and not the PE ratio, because each of these companies are growing in different way. Nvidia is growing 200% every year for now, so we need to normalize for growth. So we're taking a look at the PEG ratio, and based on the PEG ratio, AMD is by far the cheapest stock out of all of them. What is interesting actually is that the second place goes to Nvidia. One of the things you might notice here is the gross profit margin. So if we're taking a look at the gross profit margin, AMD and Qualcomm are two of the companies with lower profit margins than the rest of the competition. And maybe this is a problem because most of the company like ARM, Broadcom, and Nvidia, they are operating in a slightly different market. So AMD is operating in the PC chip segment as well as the data center, and the PC chip segment has a much lower margins than the data center segment. And here is the most important thing. Here is the point of this video if you're looking to buy AMD stock. Take a look at the revenue projections for 1 year, 3 year, and 5 years. So if you're looking at 1 year projection, you can see that, well, Broadcom and Nvidia are expected to grow more than AMD. For 3 years, the situation is better, but still Broadcom and Nvidia are kicking AMD's ass. The thing is 5 years. So you can see the projections for AMD growth is really steady. It's pretty much the same number. And if you're looking to buy AMD, you need to understand that yes, you're buying a profitable company which operates in the great sector, but you might see great returns only if you hold it for a long period of time. And here we can see that we're talking between 3 and 5 years. So right now will be 2025. Are you ready to hold AMD stock until 2030? If you are, most likely you will see great results. If you're looking to make a quick buck just buying and selling after a couple of months, it's just a random game. By the way, when I looked at the comparison of all of the companies, it really was kind of weird to me why AMD's profitability is so low relative to other companies. And I went and took a look at the financial statements of AMD, and something weird jumped out at me. Two things. So first of all, the amortization expenses for AMD is much higher, starting around 22-23. And second of all, something called other operating expenses started to get really high over the last couple of years. So I went and I dug in and tried to understand what is going on there. And both of these expenses are related to Xilinx acquisition, which they had a couple of years ago. I remind you, they have bought Xilinx for something like $35 billion all in AMD stock. And by the time the deal was complete, this price jumped to about $50 billion. So right now AMD is kind of amortizing all this acquisition and will be doing so over the next couple of years. On one hand, of course, it was a huge price to pay because AMD paid something like quarter of the company to Zilling shareholders. On the other hand, this gave them a great opening into the data center world, so I think it's a good acquisition by AMD. Now let's talk about what is our position about AMD stock. So we have looked at the AMD stock and Julia decided to buy a small position for her portfolio right now because again, the price is great, the company is great, the company is profitable, it's in the middle of AI wave, so kind of all the odds look in your favor. I have a smaller time horizon than Julia and I don't see AMD rebounding so fast. Again, I've talked about this 3 to 5 year holding of the stock. I'm not looking to buy something to hold between 3 and 5 years right now, but I think that AMD can be a quick turnaround if the price drops significantly. So for now, I have set a price target for myself for about $100, and probably this won't happen, but if it is, I will be quick to open a position and buy some stocks of AMD. Please let us know in the comment if you are holding AMD stock, what is your price target until the end of 2025? So what is your expectation the price of AMD will be at the end of 2025, so in about a year. That's all for now. Thank you for staying with us. If you found this video informative or just interesting, press the like button, subscribe to our channel, become a member of this channel, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.